All right. The recording is on. Hi, warm welcome to the Developer Portal Awards Gala in 2025. If you would be so kind to send me some kind of A-OK in the chat that you can hear me, that would be great. Hi, perfect. Okay, great. So my name is Laura Vash. I'm one of the co-founders of this awards program, and I will be your event host tonight. This is the public celebration, part of a year-long journey, really. This is the awards ceremony where we appreciate together the remarkable achievements in the world of developer portals. We also aim to bring you insights and inspiration on the emerging trends. I hope you will experience a wonderful and inspiring gala event tonight. Today, we invite you to a keynote discussion, interviews with our jurors, and the awards presentations across all the categories. And we come with several surprises. A secret awards category is one of them, which we will present at the closing of the gala event. Please note that this entire event is being recorded and that we operate under a code of conduct. I kindly ask all the attendees to follow this code of conduct throughout the event. We follow the Write the Docs community's official guidelines, but in a nutshell, I invite you all to keep the atmosphere friendly, patient, welcoming, considerate, and respectful with everyone, including yourself. However, it's human to err, and we strive to be better than yesterday. This is also human. So if it just so happens that a fellow participant's behavior is disturbing you because they are going against this code of conduct, my colleague Zoltán Gyulali is available to assist if necessary, and we will handle all your reports confidential as long as possible. If you are on stage because, wow, you got an award, I would ask that you focus your remarks on the craft and the community. Keep it short and avoid promoting specific documentation products, platforms, or technologies. My colleagues, Katalin and Zoltán, will help you and grant you temporary co-host rights. So what you have to do to come onto the virtual stage when you get the co-host right, and I call you, is to turn on your camera and your microphone, like this is a Google Meet, technically. On behalf of everyone watching the Developer Portal Awards, I thank you all, everyone who builds, maintains, or pushes developer portals and documentation as an art forward. Whether you're here as a nominee, a jury member, or part of the organizer team, your work keeps raising the bar for quality, innovation, and developer experience. Now, before we reveal the winners, I would like to take a moment to appreciate this year's nominees and the jury who reviewed them. This year, 44 developer portal teams nominated themselves to join the Developer Portal Awards, including renowned global brands and promising SMEs. We created the awards program to shine a light on what's possible when documentation teams get it right. Portals that combine clarity, usability, and innovation to truly enable their users. To challenge and inspire you to go from good to great. This gala event is the finale of this journey, the awards ceremony where we celebrate these remarkable achievements in the world of portals. And as I said, we also aim to bring you insights and inspiration on what are the emerging trends. So I warmly invite you to dedicate the next 2.5 hours of this gala to appreciate the work of many, many, many people. I hope you can feel connected and part of this community of professionals, and I hope you will experience an insightful and inspiring event tonight. This year, again, I myself had the privilege of supporting the jury groups. They are true experts who bring curiosity, empathy, and depth to their evaluations of the nominated portals. Please see the bios on the DevPortalAwards.org website for introductions, because we're a little bit short on time. The jury process itself is always more challenging than it looks. Each juror has to step back from their personal preferences. They have to reflect on the values that they want to champion and stand behind the panel's final choice. They dive into the portals across many industries, numerous domains. I genuinely enjoyed every moment spent with this thoughtful group and learned so much from them once again. To all of our jurors, on behalf of everyone in the developer portal and API community, I thank you for your work and your dedication that you have put into this non-trivial amount and depth of work. Throughout tonight, I will be asking the jurors to come to stage for short conversations, and in the coming weeks, we will be publishing the results in long-form writing as well, with extended nuances and details brought to you. I also would like to call out another name, Katalin Fogas, who was orchestrating this entire event and program with me. It is my great win to be working with you, so thank you. Now, let's start with the first jury panel. I would like to talk about two of the most popular nomination categories, onboarding experience and unified enterprise developer portals. And for this, I'm calling to the stage three of our jurors, Renishya, Jayan, Marco Spinello, and Ryan Clifford. And in the meantime, so this onboarding experience category, it serves as the foundational benchmark for usability. I have a too small screen. For usability, focusing squarely on the journey of a brand new user. The fundamental goal the jury assessed was how effectively a portal guides a developer from their initial entry point to achieving a hello world or an equivalent success of integration. And the evaluation criteria held nominees to an exceptionally high standard. We demanded that the onboarding experience has to be entirely self-contained. If a portal required users to collect information from external sites, the experience was considered actually broken, leading to lower scores. The highest score was reserved for portals where the user could evaluate the API's worth without a compulsory login or encountering an overly onerous marketing-focused process. And I would like to address my first question to Marco. Was there a small detail or moment that really made you think, wow, this is a genuinely welcoming experience for developers or users? If you could speak directly to the teams, like what would you thank them for?
Hi, Laura, and hi, everybody. Thank you for the question. And two things actually I can think of. First, how normal and how more and more portals have incorporated, for example, very easy ways to transition to Postman collections. A couple of years ago, you had to download the collection and they import it into your Postman. And now they're just running Postman, for example. Or they integrate Code Playground, like Code Sandbox, for example, directly in the developer portal. These are really non-trivial improvements that cut some clicks, and developers always like to click as little as possible and to get their hands dirty as quickly as possible. And especially these two functionalities that I just mentioned, really reduce friction and make it a lot easier to use the documentation really as a tool that you look up quickly for reference while you're already building something or getting an API hooked up or making some calls. The second thing that I noticed is that I didn't really do in-depth accessibility testing on the sites, but since I'm very biased in favor of accessibility, I just played around a little bit with screen readers and keyboard navigation. And most sites are really easy to navigate also with screen readers and with keyboard navigation. There's not a lot of extra ARIA tagging that is included, which is good. And which means that many sites also, as a result of the European Accessibility Act that went live last June, and the drive to make content AI friendly, many sites have good structure, have a good hierarchy, and make the information easy to parse and navigate. I'm really grateful for the effort that all the participants put into this.
I think we agree there very much. And meanwhile, the core principle guiding the jury's evaluation for an excellent federated portal experience was the portal's success in masking immense internal complexity to present a cohesive, unified external face. Portals that fail this test often look like they are simply linking to a different, disparate departments, making the user feel like they're entering just another company. The highest praise here went to those portals that were demonstrating the maturity and organization necessary to ensure consistency down into the content, ensuring that the disparate parts, which are often covering multiple domains, such as, for example, banking, cloud storage, or telecom, sometimes you have huge companies, that they still appear uniform. In evaluating what constitutes excellence today in both of these categories, the jury observed a bit of a tension between established foundational execution and some emerging technological exploration. The benchmark for superior quality this year, therefore, hinged largely on the robust information architecture and findability. Still, the strongest nominees excelled not through razzle-dazzle, but by making navigation predictable and providing clear access points. Renishya, can I ask the next question from you? From a process and a coordination perspective, what impressed you about how enterprise portals make complex systems feel coherent?
Thank you, Laura. And hello, everyone. For me, what really stood out were the portals that made incredibly complex systems feel simple and comfortable to navigate. These teams are, like, one thing we have to always remember is that these teams are juggling with different business units, different APIs, API types, in fact, and sometimes years of legacy decisions. Yet, the user never feels any of it. The experience feels steady, familiar, and predictable from one section to the next. And that actually ties into something I really believe in. There is no such thing as a perfect information architecture, yet like every structure has its trade-offs. What matters is that once you have chosen a structure, what the strongest nominees built into it is consistency, and made sure that when you move, learn to move from one part of the portal, that knowledge helps you to navigate through the rest. That kind of familiarity actually does not appear magically. It comes from the level of coordination it took behind the scenes. To achieve that kind of a unified portal, teams must align on shared guidelines, common navigation patterns, and consistent terminology. Actually, you can really feel when teams are talking to each other and making intentional choices about these guidelines, templates, and terminology. And you can also feel when they are thinking ahead. The portals that which impressed me most were the ones which were also designed for scale. They created an architecture that can grow along with the complex, your product landscape. So for me, what was impressive was seeing how much behind the scene collaboration went into creating that perfect, seamless developer experience that feels almost effortless. So it is not magic or like a shortcut formula. It's like disciplined processes, clear ownership, long-term thinking. So you can also see that different stakeholders have come together and create put thought into it. So like whatever seems simple, there's so much thought behind the scenes.
Thank you. And Ryan, when you looked across all the nominees, what stood out to you about how teams are shaping the starting point experience? And if you could give gentle advice or encouragement, what might you offer them?
I think what's, first of all, really interesting about being involved in this again is to see the transformation of how the industry around dev portals is changing, and that kind of comes through with the onboarding. And something that really stuck out to me this time was looking at, I guess, the personas. Now, previously, we may have only focused on a technical persona, and then a couple of years ago, we saw kind of technical and business personas, and they were very separated, and you'd have separate journeys for it. But now I see that there's this kind of emergence of a barrier of entry that's lowering around technical products. When you think about the world now with everything around AI, it's making it more accessible for non-tech people, for example, to get involved with these types of products. So I think the thing that kind of was standing out for me was those portals who have an onboarding experience which caters for kind of a real mix of audiences. You can layer it up in terms of how technical you want to dive into, and those are the ones which were really starting to stand out. And I think it's future-proofing where we will be going in the future as well. Especially when you start to think, at the moment, you might go to a portal, but you already see agentic experiences happening where people may be interacting with MCPs and AI agents. So they might not actually see your portal and the design that you've made, but they're interacting with your content. So I think that's super interesting and fundamental to onboarding. And then what you see throughout is maybe those little features which are really nice, that enhance the experience. Like I remember one that stood out to me, where you had the written information step by step, but you also had a video and it had the right timing as well. So it was really easy to be like, oh, I'm interested in that step. I've got written content, but I've also got a video there. I can now quickly get my information. That would work for me as a user going direct to your site, but then probably also an AI agent as well. So a few things that came out this year.
Thank you. So my next question would have been to all of you, what kind of trends would you highlight? But you actually already answered these questions, so let me turn this around a little bit. What kind of anti-patterns, if you could gently say, like, maybe it's time to leave that behind. Marco.
Anti-patterns. Well, an anti-pattern is that I notice less and less is making assumptions. As for example, Ryan pointed out, there's more and more attention to really cater to different audiences in with content and language that is appropriate for those specific audiences, and to keep as much complexity as possible under the hood until it is either necessary because of the learning path or the goal of the user, or until the user explicitly requests to say, show me this thing. I know it's complex, but I can handle it. There's a couple of portals that did that particularly well. For example, hiding the complexity without dumbing down the content.
Renishya, do you have something in mind that you would love to see next year?
There are a couple of things, but I think, as Ryan also said, is that the barrier to non-technical audience is reducing, and I have seen that in few portals, but there are some portals still especially the barrier seems slightly high. When you see it, especially you need either in-depth domain knowledge or the product knowledge to even go through it. So I would like to see that kind of barrier coming down, so that it is not just easy for non-technical audience also, but today we are also catering to LLMs and all. So the information is there is less confusion and hallucination. So I hope that next year people would not just spell it out everything, so that people do not have to guess.
Right.
I think two things come to mind for me. One is around naming. I really liked, and we've seen this where people name their products really simply, and you know what it is. I know sometimes it's tempting to go down a marketing route and name them in fancy ways, or something that unifies, or you stick a word like fusion in front of everything. That just overcomplicates it sometimes. So I like seeing naming things what they are. And the second one that I would like to see less and less of is like gated content or gated API references or things like that, because I understand maybe in the past you might be fearful of, I don't want all my API designs out there. What about if competitors start to look and then like start to replicate? But actually, if I think about where things are going, it's less about like stealing an API design. It's going to be like, how well can you work in this new world with agentic experiences? For example, if your content's gated, it's just going to make it harder for a consumer to consume your product. So I like to think of put your things out there. This is public APIs, share it out there, and it will probably, as long as it's designed well, it will be hard for others to copy.
Thank you very much. And thank you for humoring me, putting you on a spot with this last question that required some diplomacy. But this is necessary. I think we can all learn from both from patterns recommended and anti-patterns that are advised to avoid. So thank you very much for all of you. And I hope to see more of the recommended patterns that you were talking about appearing in next year's nominees. And now it is my great pleasure to be announcing the winners for the onboarding category. So let me talk a little bit about this category further. Like we were saying, a successful onboarding demands a lot of handholding. Everything must be spelled out explicitly, assuming absolutely nothing about the user's prior knowledge. We sought exemplary code examples that were vulnerable for the customer's problem, ideally allowing users to play around with the code visually while viewing simultaneous copy and paste ready code. Crucially, this year's assessment marks one critical shift, the recognition of the hybrid persona, like you just heard about, driven by emerging AI tools mostly. The benchmark for the future requires content that achieves inclusion for diverse needs simultaneously, focusing on resolving the user's issue rather than catering to a single narrow traditional persona. To be truly future-proof, content must be designed so that an AI can find its own successful path for the user. This means that the core principle of success is now mission critical. Assume nothing, explain everything. Explicitly detailing fundamental concepts like versioning policies, rate limits, authentication flows, and error models is essential for both humans' clarity and AI readiness. This year's winner has demonstrated a profound understanding of these criteria, making the paths visible for both educational and reference needs. But first, allow me to pull a special spotlight to one of the portals. This is the OneEdge API developer portal. And the spotlight is specifically for their exemplary tutorial work. The jury found their onboarding tutorials to be top-notch, allowing users, even those who are not technical, to achieve a desired outcome quickly and without glitches, such as getting to hello in 5 minutes. This success demonstrates that the OneEdge developer portal team has put significant work into crafting feasible, achievable, and valuable get-started paths. We believe the methods used in these were practical, action-oriented tutorials, that these are highly worthy of emulation. And this was the fireworks celebrating the portal. And next, why is that not next? Here we are. I would like to also celebrate a runner-up, the Cloudinary doc portal. So for every category, I'm going to be announcing the runner-up also because they are amazing. So the Cloudinary doc portal excelled by providing documentation that is both richly interactive and highly polished. The jury recognized that Cloudinary's documentation serves as an excellent cookbook for experienced developers, providing tight, scoped examples for specific implementations. Furthermore, they included thoughtful user experience touches such as progress bars and time estimates on Kickstarters, and the ability to jump directly to specific points within video tutorials. These elements demonstrate a genuine consideration for the user's time and the user journey itself. While their documentation for advanced users is outstanding, I would like to announce the winner for the best onboarding experience in a developer portal, which is North Developer Portal. Congratulations. And while I'm calling Will Klein, Lead Developer Relations Engineer, to this stage, allow me to say a few sentences about why this portal is getting an award. So North Developer impressed the jury by achieving a remarkable balance, effectively handling extremely complex topics, particularly within the payments domain, while ensuring users are never misled or overwhelmed. The jury notes that this approach guides developers through technical implementation and challenging security aspects without requiring incomplete shortcuts. The content organization and explanations cater exceptionally well to different audiences, making it easy for even complete newcomers to the domain to find orientation. North Developer demonstrated an outstanding job in transforming complex technical paths into a guided user journey. And I offer our warmest congratulations for setting such a high bar on complexity management in developer onboarding. And welcome, Bill.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Who in the team contributes to this portal? What does it take to pull together such an amazing experience for your users?
Yeah, so at North, I work in the developer experience team, and that's the team that manages our dev portal. And it's a team of engineers that have built with APIs for years. But I would say what it really takes is we provide APIs that many other teams build and support. And we have a really great culture at North of not just being helpful to our users and our customers, but each other. That's really, really wonderful to have, that when we're trying to build a great experience, that we can collaborate really effectively. We can ask for help. We can ask curious questions and say, we think this doesn't make sense. We want to make this better. And we have engineers get on calls with us to help make sure that we understand what we're supporting so we can document it effectively. So really having that a culture of being helpful, which I think we all try to do with what we're doing with our dev portals, having that within our company is amazingly effective.
Is there a point that you find that was like notoriously hard to bring home when it comes to the importance or the budget needs of a developer portal? Like it's a known thing that you have to fight for investment in a portal. Can you tell some short story maybe about what is a hard nut to bring through to all the stakeholders?
Yeah, I would think the thing that comes to mind for me, it's not so much the we haven't had an economic challenge with say budget or something like that with the dev portal at least, but the areas of expertise across like our industry, we're in payments, and there are so many things to understand about that. And then to be able to communicate that through the portal, that means being able to reach out to subject matter experts across the company, and being able to get really, really, really understandable explanations that we can then just pass along in our documentation. That's really challenging. So I do appreciate like how you called that out and what you said that we helped us win this, because that really is an incredible challenge I think any dev portal has. It's not to be taken for granted, the domain expertise that you need to be effective in a space. And that's something that I think any good developer values, and any good dev portal will do its best to make as easy as possible to digest and understand.
Congratulations. for the entire team for this outstanding achievement. Onboarding is a very, very, very competitive area when it comes to an award. I didn't think last year that the bar can be raised, but you did it. So congratulations.
Thank you. It's absolutely my team. I really appreciate being a part of everybody that submitted. I've learned a lot from the other nominations as well.
And now we are turning to a category that uniquely celebrates the architectural ambition required by the largest global organizations. This is the best unified enterprise developer portal. This category was established precisely because managing the API portfolio of a large, complex corporation presents a distinct and profound challenge. Here, we were looking only for portals that successfully serve as a federated platform, exposing an extensive set of integration affordances in such a unified way that users can easily form a mental model through one comprehensive system. This distinction is critical. This award is reserved for those who tackle the unique problem of creating a federated, unified situation from a very complicated setup, often overcoming significant legacy constraints. The key factor for ease of use was the choice of product naming. Those who utilized recognizable descriptive terms for their offerings significantly lowered the cognitive load for users navigating the platform, simplifying the directory structure and avoiding the need for users to learn a new internal language. This sophisticated simplicity often proves the most effective, also by ensuring returning customers, the highly technical audience, to have a short, predictable path to find what they need. The jury was genuinely excited by the ambitious attempts to integrate features pointing towards the next evolutionary phase, exposing business solutions rather than just integration endpoints. And we admire the exploration displayed by some nominees in incorporating features like AI-powered tools and solution finders. This vital work is designed to help navigate the immense complexity inherent in enterprise-level platforms, helping to direct your diverse users to the correct offering. And while in the current early stages, we found that these may not yet have consistently shortened the journey for highly technical users, nevertheless, these represent a critical step forward, already serving as an excellent tool for introduction and onboarding new visitors to your entire corporate offerings. The successful blending of foundational information architecture with intelligent, future-forward guidance, which we anticipate eventually will shorten the path to value for all users. We undoubtedly define the truly unified next-generation enterprise. And let's say, where would we like to put some spotlight, a very focused spotlight? Allow me, in the unified enterprise category, to a portal that speaks to an emerging trend among large organizations. Namely, we want to draw attention to the elevated representation of a select group of APIs by the JP Morgan's payments portal. And we observed this portal as an outstanding example of the growing trend of forking toward intentions, so to say, the act of creating distinct, dedicated experiences. This separation is increasingly vital as enterprise complexity demands specialized interfaces, whether for high-level marketing content or differently paced technical documentation. Our runner-up in the category to be celebrated is the WorldPay Developer Hub, recognized for its highly effective approach to organizing its platform, successfully allowing users to navigate both horizontally and vertically through the portal's substantial enterprise offerings. They also took notable steps in addressing the challenge of directing diverse user types to the correct solution, including those who may not be deeply technical. We must specifically commend their attempt to integrate advanced guidance, like their solution wizard, which we believe is a critical step toward the future of developer portals. This ambition is exactly what is needed to help new visitors navigate complex, federated enterprise portals. And next, who is the winner? The winner is a standard that was masterfully met by a chosen portal, the Cloudflare Docs portal. This portal earned high praise from the jurors by demonstrating this level of maturity and execution. The Cloudflare Docs portal cemented foundational excellence by maintaining this consistency. And I'm calling to the stage Kim Jeske, Head of Product Content Experience. So one of the parts that I still have to read here that is important is that the critical factor in winning was the sophisticated simplicity in your product naming, helping users to find their way through the directory. And this success demonstrates that prioritizing fundamental organization, information architecture, and clarity is a vast path, the fast path to value on a federated enterprise developer portal. Congratulations, Kim, and thank you for taking the award in your team's name.
Thank you, Laura. I really appreciate it. I think that many of our folks at Cloudflare who help name the products really have a close connection to customers. And when you're trying to make complexity simple, we just kind of call it what it is. So we're lucky to have so many stakeholders who help us with that. And then, of course, we have an information architect on the team who helps keep us honest when we're naming things and tagging things and trying to keep it all organized.
Oh, I'm a great fan of that. When I work as an editor and we start like wordsmithing, like how do we call this? I'm like, call it what it is.
Just call it what it is. And we use the product ourselves, so we'll kind of go through, we'll film ourselves or record ourselves. We'll try to figure out, are we getting lost in the words as the content people? And if we do, we know that customers and users are probably also struggling. So lots of user testing to see if we can figure out how to work through the problems too.
And beyond this, or before this, or after this, what kind of core idea or value is guiding your approach in shaping this portal?
So I've said that content is a product, and I've said content is a product for a long time. So I think the way we approach our portal is that we're treating it like a software team would treat their software. So we're constantly iterating, we're constantly updating. If we made a decision last year, maybe it's not the right decision this year, but keeping it kind of simple and honest has been a kind of our guiding principle because it aligns with the rest of the products in the company, and just treating it like a product in itself. And that's our guiding principle. And that's been I think I say that once or twice a week sometimes.
Congratulations again to the entire
you, Laura.
team, and I wish you a lot of success further. And here's a category that might be new to you, the Best Solution Portal Award category. It recognizes this emerging new standard of excellence in portals that provide comprehensive, persona-aware solutions that guide the users through entire workflows, translating technical developer assets directly into recognizable business value. The evaluation process for solution portals centered on the portal's capacity to demonstrate tremendous empathy for its varied user base and clearly communicate holistic value propositions fitted into a smooth workflow. The jury affirmed that a successful portal must look far beyond the developer. It must address individuals like business analysts, product managers, and other decision makers who need to investigate and approve a solution. We looked for portals here that made a deliberate effort to put their documentation into the context of the business problems that people want to solve. This means organizing information in a way that links offerings together, clearly illustrating the workflow and the specific business problems being solved. As one juror noted, after 5 minutes, the user must understand the core business of the portal. For example, portals here are expected to show and illustrate the solution, frequently leveraging diagrams to explain use cases and workflows to make abstract or complicated notions clear. Before we announce who is getting an award here, I would like to call 4 people to the stage for our keynote panel, namely Patricia Rogers, Devendar Kasuvojula, and Antoni Fabbricino. Please come to the stage together with Kristof and Tomme. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome. Is Devendar here and I'm just not seeing it because of my tiles? Yes.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes. Well, this being a Google Meet, of course, we have to play a little bit to see everything. So solution portals, they bridge technology and business, guiding, contextualizing, and inspiring action. They are the next evolutionary step, or so we believe, in helping organizations connect their digital capabilities with real-world outcomes. And I want to thank you for all the work that you put into this. And for this panel, I invited Kristof because I would like to focus on the solution portal category that you also helped to evaluate, because I know that a lot of people have started working on adding solutions into their developer portals recently. But I'm going to give the word over to Kristof, who is actually going to be leading this conversation, because he is well, an evangelist of solution portals and a great fan of narrative documentation.
Yeah, thank you very much, Laura. And I want to also say thank you again to all the jury members, to the 3 speaking right now, and to the team for organizing. We've been very busy organizing the awards. It's always a privilege to, to be part of this. It's amazing work. Solution portals is something that it's something that we've been thinking a lot about for a couple of years now. First, it was, I think I went back to the podcast and listened back, and first we talked about it as interface portals, but that was not really. But then, like earlier this year or last year, we started seeing this pattern that people started talking about solutions much more on developer portals, and that's when we decided to put it in as a category for the awards. So for the panel, I want to help with people that haven't been spending months thinking about this and evaluating lots and lots of portals to see how they're scoring on solution portals. Can all of you like just shortly introduce, like, what do you think is a solution portal? Like, and what is your definition of a solution portal in your own words? And I'll start with you, Antoni.
Sure. Hi, Kristof. I think for me, and again, I think the other jury panelists kind of were all in similar thought. It's how you build beyond the product experience of the portal or the user experience. So by that I mean incorporating into the portal sort of code samples that in various languages to help sort of further the integration, or how they would really identify different use cases and build on those use cases, tutorials and templates that would again just move the developer farther down that path of implementing a solution. So in my mind, those were 2 key things that I think that we looked for and that I saw in some very successful nominations.
Okay, thank you. Patricia?
Yeah, let's see. I'm thinking of some of the ones that we reviewed. I think that a solution portal, a successful solution portal, is sort of demonstrating a good understanding of the problem that the user is coming there to solve. You know, the sort of complete picture of how they would use multiple APIs in succession to discover some more and unlock some insights from the data that's being returned by the API or the solution, that has really got a lot of empathy for all the ways that the user might be trying to move forward.
Thank you. And Devendar, for you?
Sure. For me, like APIs are being currently being treated as more as a products and more business enablers. So like having like APIs, we just talk about having an endpoints or specs, but now we should see beyond that. Like they are enablers for successful businesses and outcomes. So portals which have these, like which talk more about business outcomes rather than just endpoints, are great.
So like jobs to be done and the affordances of the APIs,
Yeah.
some of which might not even be known to the people that built the APIs actually. Yeah. So my next question, I want to go a little bit deeper on like the nitty-gritty that you've seen. But we don't have a super lot of time. We'll see where we get by the end of that question. But can we do the same round again, starting with Anthony? Like what are the juicy parts? Like what are the things that really stood out for you in some of the portals that you've reviewed that really helped to translate like the needs of a customer or of a developer into a solution that they can then start working towards? Either tell somebody else to like go and, hey, here's the asset I want you to use and continue working with, or for the person that is actually figuring out what they're trying to do. What's really stood out to you amongst the nominees?
Yeah. Good question. Good question. I think what stood out for me was, again, if you think about a solution portal, having there's so many different combinations of what a user would want to sort of, what they're looking for in terms of content. So I think so one thing that stood out for me was navigation and design of the portals. So some of the ones we looked at, I think, really sort of thoughtfully thought through the sort of the discoverability of what they were presenting, and so they really built in good navigation, good visual content pieces, tiles, and so forth like that. So I found that to be something which is above and beyond just the solution components, but building out the portal as well.
So and then you mean like navigation? It's like user journeys through like different types of categories and things like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So not just like standard navigation elements, but like how do you build the information architecture to like really guide people through it?
Guide people and make it, again, visually comfortable, if you will. Yeah, exactly in that way. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Patricia.
Yeah, and sort of adjacent to what Anthony was just saying, I think it's so profound and really can be very difficult to stand outside our own perspective and say, okay, how is somebody else approaching this? To really have that third person perspective of, does this make sense to somebody who's completely new? What are other things this person might have on their mind? Honestly, what are time constraints that they might have? I mean, how much time are they actually going to be able to sit and review this? Can they get as much information they need in a single 15-minute session, or are they going to have to schedule a lot of time to try to just digest all the information that we're presenting? So all that empathy, I think, for whether it's a technical person is coming to like consume concrete details about exactly how do I construct this API call, or that business person who's just trying to get a flavor for the entire what might be available through that solution portal. I think as we were evaluating the different websites, it's this constant like shifting of perspective of, does it sort of give you a path towards innovation and new things you might be able to do, or is it just very concretely, these are the 5 or 6 APIs and here's how you use them? Yeah, just getting that balance between really concrete details, technical details, and the business problem. I'm sorry, I was thinking about what Anthony had just said. Can you kind of restate your original question as well?
No. So like, what is the features that really stood out? Like, so it was interesting what you said about like empathy as the one, and that's the really hard one, because empathy is highly contextual.
That's a good point. Well, personally, I'm very visual, and if somebody can like describe the workflow, you know, if they've taken the time to sort of illustrate the workflow, with particularly showing how their APIs or SDKs work together as part of a solution, or you may start with this API for discovery, and then you're going to use this next API in this way. That for me is very helpful when, and that can be tiles, or it can just be a workflow, or it can be, you know, yeah, showing how the data comes together.
Like, and how, so one of so this is one of the first insights I picked up more than, well, 10 years ago, when we first started doing developer portals, was that, you know, you need to think outside in rather than inside out. And you hinted at that, Patricia. So like, and do you have any tips for people how to do that?
Well, yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because we would be diving through documentation, and sometimes you would find those workflow diagrams buried pretty far down. And as a completely new person to the site, looking at it for the first time, that would have given me the context early on, but I had to sort of go a few levels deep to find the workflow. So I think making it, whatever somebody's preferred point of entry is, if you can make those diagrams available from the main page, I think that can be helpful, because truly everybody sort of does maybe discover and take that kind of information in differently. Yeah, I was actually, and then of course you have different languages that people are native in. Somebody was making the point the other day that like Lego instructions actually have no words on them at all. It's just a diagram, and it's so I think you kind of have to take into account a few ways that people explore.
Okay, thank you. Devendar?
Yeah, so for me, like what really stood out was, like, as Anthony and Patricia were saying, use case driven navigation and like empathy for different personas. But I would like to add, like, few portals have also stated different integration options for a single use case. So you now have like low code, no code, and like full code options. So that also was really interesting to see in solution portal.
So I have this contrarian view that you should also have your human interfaces on there. Like the way that what you're exposing as interfaces towards the world or interacting with you as an organization, that actually all of your interfaces belong on your, what developer portals become solution portals. So I strongly agree that, like, don't limit yourself to just your APIs. This is like now, like, yes, APIs need to be there, but maybe API is not the right thing. Maybe, you know, like APIs are the right thing if you want a scalable solution and you need a lot of traffic, then you want like something performing. But if you just need one interaction, maybe that ends up being an MCP server or something like that, or maybe that's a human that's actually answering your question. And I think I don't know when this merger will happen, but that is kind of like how I see all of this evolving. Do you have another minute, Laura? I'll assume yes. So is there, do you already see this happening? That like the merging of the digital or it's like the human interfaces are becoming digitally intermediated. It's like there's a digital interface sitting in front of the human, facilitating that interaction, also constraining it to make it more predictable and scalable, and then potentially also automatable. Do you start seeing have you seen any of this? And I know this is a bonus question, so I don't know if there's any of you who has an answer for this.
So what I see currently is like there is a human aspect in everything we build, because like APIs we should be more business outcome focused. So there needs to be a good story which needs to be told. So because like story humanizes technology, So without a good story or without a good business outcome, if you build APIs, they are just technical specifications. They can't increase your adoption, or they can't increase your revenue. So when you have this human intervention, when you have human talking more about this APIs, then or the software which we built, you would be talking more of business outcomes. You would be talking more of the story behind it, and that's what drives more making your dev portals more solution oriented. Like, it's not a good marketing it's not only a good marketing strategy for having a good developer portal which is solution focused, but also it's a good product strategy as well.
Yeah.
Because that's what drives you, that's what people love, which will your dev portal will, your APIs will get sold as well, and you'll get budget for it.
Yeah. And one last observation that I've started thinking about is hypermedia APIs, like the HOS, the good old HOS. And I went back listening to one of my podcast episodes from 2 years ago with Mike Amundsen and Michael Heibe, where we were talking about like constraining API traffic using the hypermedia model for self-discovery inside of the API. Have you seen any hypermedia APIs during the evaluations this year?
In our current nominations
No?
solutions portal, I haven't
Yes.
seen any.
Okay. So I have well, I've been thinking a lot about this, and we're doing some experiments, but I think that maybe for low traffic, like especially with like an MCP scenario, this might be much more efficient than like the traditional like, well, what today like is seen as the standard API. Well, anyway, I'd like to thank all three of you. Thank you very much for sharing your insights about this very exciting category, and for spearheading the industry and figuring out what's the future, and how will we get our developer portals being more AI friendly and human friendly at the same time. And thank you very much, Patricia, Anthony, and Devendar.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.
Thank you.
And I also thank you. And as I said, we are going to be bringing more long-form written articles because we had long, very heated discussions with this, as you have just seen. With they're bringing a tremendous amount of insights into this, and there's a lot to tell. But Kristof, I know that you are bringing a present to us. We have made a slide for this, so this is one of the presents that we are bringing to the awards. Can you tell about it?
It's early Christmas, or yes, or Santa Claus for people that are celebrating Santa Claus. So we have as the sponsors of the organizers, the main organizers of the DevPortal Awards, we have a gift for our attendees today. We're giving away free growth audits, DevPortal assessments, to celebrate the winners of the DevPortal Awards. A bit of background. So our UX research team has created a maturity model for developer portals with more than 250 practices that API teams use to improve their overall success. Next year, we'll start offering this as a growth assessment, or we'll start offering growth assessment based on that model to help teams to improve their developer portals. But today, as a special surprise gift to all our winners, so if you're a winner, you're getting one of these, but also for the attendees. So there's a QR code, so you already start feeling where I'm going. So we've got a free, a first set of free assessment slots focused on the 100+ user experience practices that we can evaluate publicly. So if you have a URL, we can evaluate this on your portal. You can get a free assessment if you scan the QR codes and fill in the form at the bottom of the description. Scroll down and have a look at that. Be quick, because it's the first 3 signups that will get a free one right now. If you're an award winner, you're going to get one no matter what. Also, don't worry if you're an award winner. Like, it's a benchmark, but we will not share your individual evaluation with the winners. We'll do an aggregate over all the awards winners, so that you can have a look at what practices you might not have, or maybe other people might have. Also, if you started scanning late and you didn't get it into the first 3, no worries. It's still a good idea to scan it and fill it out, because we'll have a waiting list where we'll send notifications when we have future free and paid assessments related actions. So we'll do different types of actions, like compare yourself against your competitors, or maybe like evaluation against a certain industry, and things like that. And if you want to get one of those, and there'll be quite some free ones, also some paid ones, and then make sure to get on that list. And that's it.
Thank you very much. That's a very generous offer, because I happen to know how much time this takes. So, yeah, just a bit of gossip in the background. I'll certainly have some ideas about whether we want to do aggregate or not aggregate. This is actually a recurring thing in the jury discussions, that you can imagine more like ice creams. Like, some people like mixing the ice cream flavors. But often a commercial portal is focusing on a specific aspect, and the whole point of these awards is to show that from different aspects you can be very, very, very good, and because you have been focusing on that, and then of course on to the next, and one by one, and it's iterative.
Maybe one thing to add here, like this is totally separate from the DevPortal Awards. So whatever the jury has, like the process with the jury is completely separate. We treat it confidential. This is a separate thing that we developed. It's of course, there's been inspiration going both ways when we helped to design the award questions for each year and the categories, like to the practices. But it's standalone, so yeah, this is a separate process designed by our UX research team.
Yeah. So thank you, Kristof, and also for the UX research team who's willing to show some inspiration. And I am going to move on to the category that you have been talking about, which is the best solution portal category. So the benchmark is evolving because if you remember, this is not the first year that this category is open, but the awards have been very strongly advocating for use case documentation for the last few years, and there's this, I don't know how to put it, a phase change that we are seeing. So what the solution portal anticipates is the user's entire implementation journey, and it centralizes the critical decision-making content. So I have a bit of a story here. First, we looked at how nominees mitigated the implementation complexity. It is no longer enough to simply offer API reference material, of course, but the modern standard demands content that provides resources to overcome the messiness of the integration, such as providing code samples, tutorials, and configuration guides for implementing the solution into specific external platforms or even physical hardware components. This commitment to helping developers move past the initial API call and integrate the solution into an existing code base or toolset is often supported by low-code or no-code options, like Devendar mentioned, and this was a major differentiator. Second one is that the consolidation of information is a differentiating factor, the centralization of decision-making content, as I said. The best solution portals understand that developers and business leads need to make a complex decision without friction. Leading portals placed pricing transparency, business case studies, and success stories directly on the solution portal. This ensured that users could gain a holistic picture and make a decision without having to leave the site and navigate to a main corporate page, demonstrating that the portal itself is designed to function as a mature commercial vehicle for guiding integration decisions. The jury highly valued the portals that took the effort to think through the what's next question for the user. This includes offering clear, structured options for getting started, whether it's creating a free account, trying out a sandbox, or directly contacting sales for those with high buying intent. And I would like to first pull a special spotlight on one portal, the WorldPay portal, namely for its exceptionally strong overall performance and innovation. The WorldPay portal is highly praised by the jury for doing the basics very well and was specially recognized for its innovative Find Your Solution tool. This feature, which guides users towards the correct APIs by having them answer simple business questions, was described as very creative and highly effective for mitigating complexity for business stakeholders. The WorldPay portal's exceptional organization makes it an outstanding and exemplary portal in the payment solution space. And next, I would like to celebrate the runner-up for this highly competitive category, the Mercedes-Benz Data Portal. This portal is recognized for its thought leadership and its strong focus on innovation in an emerging segment of data products. The portal excels at framing its APIs as tools for innovation, providing compelling success stories that focus on solving new industry B2B problems. The jury advises that this portal offers one potential directional indication of where solution portals could be heading, particularly in new industry segments. And drumroll for the winner, please. The winner of the Best Developer Portal for Solution Portals is the North Developer Portal. This portal was unanimously recognized for its superior ability to provide a comprehensive, thoughtfully designed experience. The jurors noted that the portal felt a little more soulful and alive, suggesting that significant thought had gone into the overall experience. North excels by offering superior content structuring, including explicit pricing transparency and centralization of success stories on the portal itself. Crucially, the jury found that the North Developer Portal demonstrated a very thoughtful and comprehensive approach to mapping the user's journey, successfully guiding all personas from the developer to the executive through the what's next question of adopting and implementing the solution. And I might have the wrong name. Am I calling to stage Patrick Weir? Hi.
Hey there.
Hey. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
You are a senior product manager at North, right?
I am, yeah.
I have a bit of a future gazing question for you. Where do you see developer portals heading next? And how does your work connect to that? And I know that this might feel like a a leading question, but really, independently from what we have been talking about in the last quarter, where do you see portals going, and what do you do towards that end?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think just continuing to build on the concept of user experience and creating these portals like a product. I know other speakers have already mentioned that. I think that's going to be really key, just speeding up our users' time to market and really just continuing to build on the concept of the users coming first and creating more rapid onboarding and making sure that our solutions are clear and just continuing to drive towards that level.
Do you have any memory? And if you can share that, what we are also seeing on the screen, the design choice, because we no longer have the visual design award category. But I find it a very daring and brave choice, and also for me it's visually, like aesthetically, very, very pleasing. Do you recall any of the considerations that went into bringing the portal more alive?
Yeah, I don't know that I have a real specific story in terms of the actual design. I think the important thing for us in terms of anytime we're implementing something on our portal and thinking about kind of what I mentioned earlier, being user-centric and trying to connect a little bit more directly with our users, that comes into the decision-making in anything we're doing and anything that we're building. We want it to be very approachable, very smart, very easy to use and something that anyone, even a non-technical user, can step onto our portal and feel comfortable using it.
And according to the jury feedback, you're there. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Our next category is the best developer portal for data products. And this is a fascinating one and a highly critical one. I myself personally really believe in data products and very interested in what's happening there. But so this award category recognizes organizations that are not just exposing raw information via an API, but are successfully packaging, documenting, and managing data as a genuine commercial product that delivers measurable business value. The primary challenge for the jury in this category was defining what truly constitutes a data product. We agreed that a winner must move beyond simple transactional data and present information in a way that helps users derive new insights and facilitates behavior change. We sold portals dedicated to solving very challenging problems in both mature and emerging markets. However, the defining characteristic of excellence in the data product space is trust. Given the sensitivity of information involved, our jury found that data privacy and data compliance are the topmost concerns for anyone consuming these products today. The benchmark for transparency has been unequivocally raised as well. The most exemplary portals distinguish themselves by making the end-user licensing agreement explicitly available for every single API. This commitment signals the highest level of accountability, ensuring that when integrators consume data, they are providing clear approval and understanding exactly what they can and cannot do with that data. Furthermore, the jury praised nominees that demonstrated honesty in their documentation. We recognized portals that did a very fair job of presenting their data, particularly when dealing with aggregated or localized information that might be a bit of a patchwork. We appreciated those who resisted temptation to overstate the completeness or perfection of their data, ensuring their consumers integrate with full awareness. And now I turn to those nominees who exemplify these standards of innovation and transparency. First, allow me to put a special spotlight on one of the portals. And this is the Mercedes-Benz data portal. The jury wishes to recognize this portal for its clear commitment to making new forms of automotive data available. And while the nature of the data itself sparked discussion among the jury as to what is the categorization, the portal is celebrated for its focus on driving business outcomes. It is pioneering efforts in demonstrating how data can solve significant B2B challenges or helping municipalities. And the portal is providing a valuable directional example by tackling a bigger problem with a newer approach. The category runner-up to celebrate is the CDQ developer portal. This portal earns this recognition for its admirable work in making complex, often localized, aggregated data sets accessible to developers. The jury specifically appreciated their rigorous approach to documentation, which accurately conveys the limitations and complexity of the data. The portal provides an excellent reference for how to document data integrity, doing an amazing job in presenting its offering and ensuring that developers know exactly what they are working with. The winning portal in the data products category is Up42. The highest honor goes to the Up42 Documentation Hub. And this portal is seen as tackling a very challenging and complicated data set. And they set a high standard for compliance and transparency. This portal excels at treating geospatial offerings as data products with clear provenance for both provider and processing levels, strong interpretability, and a practical centralized catalog. Discovery and persona coverage are top-notch, and for every API exposed, they explicitly presented the end-user licensing agreement. This comprehensive approach to data governance and transparency directly addressed the jury's highest concern in this category, as I mentioned, trust. And by this, the Up42 Documentation Hub has proven itself as the benchmark for responsible and accountable data product management. And on stage, I'm welcoming Daria Luchenko, Developer Experience and Documentation Lead. Hi, and I'm very happy to see you again.
Hi, happy to see you.
Because we recently met at the Writer Docs conference, just to give some marketing to technical writer communities as well. And I have a question. What's something that you would love to celebrate about your team's effort?
It's this industry that we work in is very complex in itself. Geospatial and satellites, it is an industry full of very complicated terms and concepts. And when you mix this together with the APIs and SDKs and the flows for the users, you have just such a mix of the complexity that you need to untangle. And yeah, just want to give a shout out to my team, to Sad, to Kiran. So we are just a team of 3 people who are maintaining the portal, and it's just a great honor to be, to be a winner in to have our efforts recognized, because we've come a long way to be where we are. And the thing that we've always been fighting for is for the honesty, the transparency. You said trust, and it's one of our core values as the documentation team, as to be very transparent of what is the actual state of things, what is that we actually do, and what it means for the user. Because again, this complexity and the ULAs you mentioned, the user term license agreements, I think it's complex on purpose, and so we are there to make it clear and to make it accessible to people who just want to figure out how to use it. So
I have a question that I did not clear with you, but you're a team of 3 writers, if I understand this correctly, in this very complex space. What part of the organization do you directly report to?
So it's me. We have Sad, who's a technical writer, Kiran, who's a developer, and then we are in the product team. Yeah. So it's one of the things, just actually one of the successes that I think that we've been able to achieve is because we were treated as a product team, and because our documentation was treated as product. Kim was saying earlier, content is product and also documentation is product, right? And so when you think that documentation can achieve this onboarding, this help him find the use case, the solution, and help bring out this clarity, then well, you have an amazing product just because you empowered the other part of it.
Do you remember any or face-changing moments when the appreciation of the documentation itself suddenly changed, or this was always the case in Up42?
Well, that it's not. I think it's a constant struggle of every tech writer in the industry, right? That we have to prove a value and the value of what we do. But I've been just blessed with the great team and just the great product team, is that we were able to set ourselves and our documentation in the way that everyone knows now the value that we bring, and everyone knows that if there's something that is unclear, and again, there are very many unclear things in geospatial, then documentation is the source of truth. And it's just a collaborative process when we would, because I was not from the industry, I had no idea what satellites were. And so when I came to that mindset, the beginner's mindset, and we were just, going to different SMEs, and it's how do you think people approach this? What would users need in this case? But then we would, from our part, bring the expertise on how to write text and the guidelines on what should be said and what, we don't need to just, announce a new feature, but we need to present how it will be useful for a user. So just the mix of that, of the industry knowledge and SME's expertise with our technical writers' expertise, is something that we built such a collaborative environment that now I feel that we are very greatly recognized inside the company, and just and also by you right now. So
Yes, it shows. Congratulations to the entire team and lots of success further.
thank you so much.
Best API and Partner Apps Marketplace category. This category highlights developer portals that effectively bridge the technical needs of application creators with the business needs of end consumers looking to adopt solutions. The modern API and Partner Apps Marketplace is expected to function as a seamless ecosystem where strong technical enablement for the developer is coupled with a compelling modern showcase for the consumer, ensuring both personas can achieve their goals with minimal friction. This dual commitment for excellence to excellence for all users is the benchmark for this year. If the traditional developer portal is like a well-stocked toolshed where engineers gather their components, the modern Partner and Apps Marketplace is like a bustling, beautifully organized hardware store. It not only offers clear documentation and easy access to every tool, but it also clearly labels the finished product, shows compelling examples of what can be built, and makes it easy for the customer to find and buy the final result. Without the clear signage and organization for the customer, the builders won't be motivated to fill the shelves. And I would like to pull, once again, special spotlight to a portal. The jury wishes to put this spotlight on the following specifics on the Stella developer portal. The portal demonstrates strong developer capabilities, including a mock server, an AI chat assistant, a clear API layout, and video tutorials. Furthermore, the organization and presentation of the application tiles were praised for being very well done, allowing users to filter by price and clearly conveying the app's value with visible ratings. And I highly recommend that you have a good look at this developer portal. Who's the runner-up? Sabre. The portal was highly regarded by the jury for its maturity and complexity in dealing with numerous partners and applications, serving as an established, strong offering. And some drum roll for the winner. Following the thorough review and some adjustment of the scoring that we'll write about later, towards favoring both integrator and buyer personas, Canva developers emerged as the winner, demonstrating an exemplary direction for API and Partner Apps marketplaces. And we have on stage Elliot. Allow me to say 2 more sentences about why this portal is the winner. The success is attributed to the portal's modern design, vivid user experience, and clear support for developer workflows and personas. The portal has standout strengths in partner enablement and app presentation, often appearing to have been built from the ground up with a very clear illustration of the intended workflow and a jury. And congratulations, we have here Elliot Darling, Ecosystem Experience Product Lead. I love your job title.
Thanks so much, Lara.
Congratulations. And I have one question. Is there a mindset or a practice or a set of practices that you would highly recommend portal teams to adopt?
I think as we get more and more towards a AI-first world, thinking about the fundamentals, what makes a good developer portal, makes a good agentic experience. We've gone through sort of this journey over the last year or so to start making our product suitable for agents. And we've found that really just going back to those fundamentals, is accessibility covered? Do we have enough documentation? Is it easy to find? All those sort of fundamental things that make good documentation and developer portals for humans also actually make them really useful for agents, and we see more people accessing our content that way, so making sure that it's accessible and easy for them is sort of the direction we're heading.
As ecosystem experience product lead, did you have to fight for this, or this is kind of giving itself? or rather the fight is in explaining what does this actually mean? Where do we start?
Yeah, I think we've done a really good job of making this quite cohesive with the Canva product and showing the benefit to the wider business of developers build apps, users use those apps, users get value of those apps. And we've done things like aligning monetary incentives from our developers to the wider business with our premium apps program, where we encourage developers to be part of the Canva product. And as they upgrade users to paid Canva accounts, they get revenue, we get revenue. So we're really looking for those sort of win-win relationships that wins for Canva, wins for the developers, wins for the users. And when we find those, we find it's very easy to get resourcing, funding, and alignment with the wider team.
Here's to win-win situations. May the world be full with them. Congratulations to this award and everyone who was behind creating this experience on the portal. It's outstanding, and I hope that it will serve your users well.
Thank you so much.
And I'm calling for the next jury panel. I would like to invite Mike Jang and Prince Valluri to the stage to join me here for a conversation. Hello. This might be just my view because I know that Mike is here. I might just not be seeing him yet.
Here we go. I couldn't get my camera going for a moment.
Good morning. Because it's very early morning. Well, not so early, but still it's morning. Thank you for joining me on the stage. And I have a lot of questions prepared. So let's go. Across all the specialized portals that you have seen, what themes or shifts did you notice in helping developers navigate complex content or functionality? Maybe I ask Prince first.
Okay. Hey, everyone. Glad to be here. So I think out in the world in general, we are seeing AI being slapped on everything and as a silver bullet to solve all problems, but they've not been claims of effectiveness yet. But some of these portals that we've seen this year have been very deliberate about how they can leverage the power of AI for their portals, and we've seen some really good examples. And besides that, I think we've also seen some very amazing instances of sandbox environments that were really delightful to use. And it gives people an easy way to see their specific use cases in action and just get a better understanding overall of the capabilities of the portal.
Right. To contrast with that, we also saw examples of portals with partial implementations of AI that just look sloppy, but when done well, as a developer, as a writer, whatever, I could go to a portal, say, how do I get started with your software? Ask the AI bot, I need this in French. It would give me a get started guide in French, and I'd think, oh my gosh, this makes my life so much easier, instead of having to read all this complicated English. I mean, there's still so many portals out there who think that walls and text are the way to go.
So where would you say is if you were asked to help, okay, so is this AI assistance genuinely supportive or not? What would be the questions you would make the teams ask them themselves? How would they decide that?
So I work in developer productivity. So I see day in and day out how people are interacting with various systems. And I can tell you for a fact that engineers spend a lot more time trying to understand the work that needs to be done than actually implementing changes. That's a relatively easy and quick thing. This is where I feel AI is a game changer, right? So documentation is often written from the perspective of the author, but every individual is different, and some people learn better from examples, some people learn better from detailed descriptions. And with a common knowledge base of information, I think AI is able to cater to these individual needs and help everyone be more productive in a way that works for them. It's more personalized.
In the past, when I refer to walls of text, I refer to writer efforts to try to customize things for everyone. And at that point, people who try to read through it to get to what they want, they get lost. With AI, they can focus on what they need.
So what would be genuinely exciting is if all of these different needs would be served, but without all of that in your face straight up. And you imagine that the game changer, the technology that will make this possible is somehow AI assistance.
AI assistance, but it only works if you have well-organized documentation to begin with. If you have everything on a single page, an example, explanation how OAuth works, then procedures on how to implement it, AI is likely to get lost and quote unquote hallucinate and mix things up.
Yeah, solid foundations are always critical.
Let me ask you from the opposite angle. What would be practices, patterns, phenomenon that you would be very happy to see the whole industry to move on? Like it's time to retire that idea.
I actually had a very similar thought as somebody else that mentioned this earlier in the show today, is just gated information. It slows people down and potentially, again, staying on this theme of AI, it restricts large models from also reading this information. A lot of people start from ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude today, and having this information available there will likely increase the visibility of the overall APIs and also the understanding. And again, when I am in a portal trying to understand it, having things gated is always a challenge.
Frequently, when evaluating portals, we have to ask for an API key or an auth key or whatever. That can frequently take days. By that time, I moved on to the next product and lost interest. If you have a portal where such things are set up in a sandbox or available to you almost instantly with say, a single sign-on, that can help keep your interest in the portal.
So this is a recurring advice for years. And sometimes it feels like everyone knows that this would be great, but somehow the whole complex organization just it's very hard to move. If and there's legacy situations, and then there's this year's call for proposals for the AI the Docs track that will be in Paris in December. I'll have to come back to that. I have tickets. But so when I was trying to write the call for proposals with as much empathy as I could gather, I came to this that everyone is just stuck in this legacy constraints, budget constraints, and yet infinite potential and infinite expectations. And you're like somehow stuck in the middle, and it's like it feels like a settle point where you're holding on, doing your best. If you could offer one piece of advice or one piece of encouragement to teams working on interface documentation, what would that be?
So I've built developer portals and I've used numerous developer portals, and I can tell you that the quality, the functionality, and the overall look and feel of some of these portals has been pretty outstanding, as you'll see in some of the winners later. And I think one common thing that I also liked a lot across quite a few portals was the weaving of use cases and real world examples of how to use something along with the underlying APIs is a very powerful feature to have, because it helps people connect the dots much more easily instead of just saying this is how auth works versus saying this is how you use it. Is very powerful. So yeah, great work by a lot of the folks here.
And that's exactly right. If you can make it apply to somebody's particular situation, this is how you can set up payments for your system. Great. But yes, we have to quote unquote live in the real world and meet production requirements. I have the good fortune of being broken out, and right now I'm helping to set up an AI agent to address some of these issues. Otherwise, you're stuck in the cycle that Laura suggested. Oh my God, I have to get these releases out, and where am I going to get time to actually pay attention to developer and user needs?
Thank you very much. And as I said in the previous conversation, also in all of the descriptions that I'm reading up, your suggestions, opinions, pet peeves, and heartfelt advice is also there. Some of the diplomatic advice we are going to restrain into long-form written content, but I hope that everyone can learn. And I thank you very, very much for the effort, the attention, the empathy, and the knowledge that you have put into these evaluations.
And thank you, Laura, for helping us be empathetic about all this instead of how we really felt.
It's always easier to be critical, but of course, you know how much work goes into the last 20%. Thank you very much for both of you. And I get the honor to announce the awards that you have chosen. So I hope I'm showing the right. Next up is a category that is highly anticipated. We had, once again, not too many nominees, but let me tell a little bit about this category. This year, I had this notion, I don't know if you're a Harry Potter fan or not, but it feels like evaluating a room of requirements, moving beyond simple product assessment. So our jury was focusing intently on whether the artificial intelligence assistance served as a structural enhancement to the developer experience rather than merely just applying some fashionable fairy dust on top of everything. The benchmark in this category shifted significantly this year, obviously, requiring AI to demonstrate utility that affects fundamental processes, including authoring workflows and cognitive limitations. And tonight, we celebrate the innovators who are leading the way in integrating artificial intelligence with precision, setting new standards for trust and efficiency. First, the special spotlight shines on the BMY Treasury Services API Developer Portal. The jury has established that for an AI-augmented portal to truly succeed, compliance with data usage and privacy laws is a non-negotiable standard. In this regard, this developer portal earns special recognition for setting an essential benchmark for trust and maintainability. This portal is one of the few to provide explicit, plain language caveats upfront. They clearly communicate confidence levels and data policies, proactively stating the boundaries as to where AI intervenes. This foundational commitment defines how a responsible hybrid system must prioritize the end users need to know what happens to their data. The practice is a profound statement. Transparency must be guaranteed and made accessible before engagement. The BNY Treasury Services API Developer Portal provides an essential roadmap for ethical engagement in this space, proving that foundational trust must accompany technical innovation. And I'm thrilled to recognize Canva developers as the runner-up in the AI Augmented Developer Portals category. The portal demonstrated a powerful precision of AI augmentation. The jury noted the portal's ability to deliver high-quality, automated translation for quick starts and code examples, addressing the goal of reducing bottlenecks in authoring workflows. Furthermore, the portal offers sophisticated integrated LLM tools, providing the necessary server integrations and client support that allow developers to build applications using their AI implementations. This integration places the portal among the vanguard in driving new developer efficiencies. Oh, and here's the fireworks. I celebrate the runner-up as being Canva developers. Who do we celebrate as the award winner of this category in this year? It's Cloudinary. The Cloudinary doc portal excelled by offering genuine and profound structural enhancement. Their solution was lauded by the jury for superior foundational AI technologies and sophisticated LLM client support, including multiple MCP servers. This deep integration allows developers to wire up their environments and work directly with the code. By providing these tools, the portal functions as the authoritative system of records and the system of context, ensuring consistency and reliability at the source of truth. The portal's success at the awards evaluation lies not only in technological depth, but also in its profound sense of user empathy. They achieved excellence in cognitive inclusivity by providing dedicated documentation and suggested prompts for interacting with their LLM clients. This hand-holding approach ensures that users who may not know what to ask from the chatbot can still harness its power, effectively lowering the cognitive load. The portal demonstrates that the strongest hybrid systems successfully improve accessibility and inclusivity, while fundamentally transforming the way developers engage with documentation. Congratulations, and I'm welcoming on stage Jackie Rosenzweig, who is Senior Director of Documentation and Developer Experience. And I hope you paid attention to that title, Senior Director of Documentation and Developer Experience. Jackie, the existence of your role is widely celebrated in technical writing circles, and you're also a recurring guest on my stage. Congratulations for winning this award.
Thanks so much, Laura. We're really excited about this one. This is one that's been super, super important to us recently.
Is there a detail, actually, in the portal that you're especially proud of, even if some people might miss it?
Well, I mean, obviously, that Ask AI that Michael and Prince were talking about is something that we added in this past year. And hopefully nobody misses it. But it is an area where we've invested a lot, making sure, like they said, looking into how we can improve the content itself to make sure that we're feeding that value correctly into it, and taking advantage of some of the tool's capabilities in terms of adding guidance and things, so that when we see that the answers to the questions aren't perfect, we can keep improving it along the way. So it is something that it could be a full-time job in and of itself. There's no question about it. Just constantly moderating that content and figuring it out, and learning so much about what customers are really asking through the questions that they're asking in there, so that the input into it is also it's fabulous. And it's not a put it there and you're done type of thing. So I think maybe that's the side that isn't so obvious to everyone. that it's not just get it up there, get it working, and you can put your check mark on there. It's really a project that's ongoing and fascinating but challenging.
It's unrelated, but in one of my favorite movies, there's this sentence by one of the characters is that people are most honest in front of a search engine. So the questions that people ask are wildly informative, and it's yeah. But before you had this source of user interests, do you recall some of the milestones, or what in retrospect you consider milestones in these iterative implementations of AI systems?
I guess, first of all, there's a research of figuring out, what tool do you want to embed in there, or do you want to create your own? So there was definitely a research process there. Cloudinary itself does a lot with AI, and we have our own models, and we have that. So there was kind of a leaning of, hey, we can do it ourselves. But having looked around at different portals and understanding that that is a huge product in and of itself, there was a lot of research into figuring out which was the best one. And then again, as you said, it was only after we implemented it, we realized how much more there was to do, starting to discover all of the content that's in there and what should we be doing, and can we connect our MCP servers into it, and push the, should it be learning off of our HTML content? Should it be learning off of our Markdown content? Because there are little intricate differences between the two and the performance behind it. What kinds of ways can we take advantage of AI to research this huge amount of content when you have thousands of questions that customers are asking and you want to review them? Obviously, one person can't sit, or even if you had a team of people sitting and reading them, you can't. So also, how do we take advantage of AI to decide what it is that we want to analyze and bring that information in, and then what it is we want to actually sit and read for ourselves and only trust ourselves to evaluate. So yeah, there's a lot of steps along the way, and we keep discovering more.
Did this change what you do within the team?
The input from that?
This whole process, like, it kind of turns things upside down almost, in a way, or at least the top layer turned upside down.
Yes.
Did that change how you work or what you do?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure where your question is coming from. What we get from that Ask AI engine in and of itself impacts a lot of things, and we have implemented a lot of processes around it. But I think maybe talking about how we use LLMs and AI capabilities in general internally has flipped things upside down. Discovering what we can automate that that prior to that you would have had to develop an app to do. We can now write some rules, run a few iterations, and we have it creating, the video tutorials that somebody mentioned earlier with the timestamps used to be so time consuming to create. Watching the video, deciding exactly where to break the timestamps down and put them in. And now we have, having written a few rules, we now have it reading the transcripts of our videos, creating the page, adding it to the table of contents, writing those an initial draft of all of those timestamps and where they take them. And that's happening in 2 minutes. And then we spend another 15, 20 minutes tweaking it manually because you have to fix it up. But we've used these types of tools to turn really, really heavy, 3 or 4 hour processes that we had to do several times a week in 2 minutes. And it's mind-blowing and fun. And also, like, it adds another element of, for those of us in this room that are geeky, that I think most people can raise their hands on that, it adds a new element of fun to our work. And, every time we discover another new tool, and, all of these, Cursor and all of these LLMs keep pushing out new capabilities like on a daily basis. And to the extent that you can keep up with them, there's just so much you can do.
And yet, Congratulations to the laudable achievement that the portal shows, and congratulations to the entire team.
Thank you so much. And it really is a huge team effort. Everybody on the team has really been a huge part of this. It's great to have such an amazing team, and congratulations to everybody on it.
I'm announcing the next category winners in a very exciting new category. Best API product Microportal inside the developer portal. I don't know if you're following our newsletter. We recently published a short article, a teaser article on this. I love the idea of microportals, especially coming from the angle of a champion of a narrative documentation. What is a microportal? The fundamental goal of a microportal is to offer a highly tailored experience designed to help users to explore a specific product or functionality within a larger product portfolio. This emphasizes the product-specific narrative, bridging the gap between technical implementation and overall business value. This is a layered distinction from the essential product integration documentation. A successful microportal must contain information comprehensive enough for a buyer or buyer team to make a decision regarding integration or adoption. It must skillfully address the wider range of audiences involved in this buying or integration decision process. And while the original ideal expected an API product microportal to provide a self-contained, frictionless path from exploration all the way to adoption, the jury group noted that making this path self-contained is today still often programmatically impossible in complex B2B integrations. For example, when dealing with B2B payments or financial services that require some initial setup or a conversation with sales. Therefore, the jury decided to evaluate against the expectation that the content has to be comprehensive enough for the user to make a decision regarding the integration or adoption, and that the portal must effectively contribute to the larger organizational decision-making process. The complexity of this category reminds us that the documentation landscape is constantly changing. If traditional developer portals are like a large library, storing all the knowledge and history of an entire organization, then a microportal is like a curated bookshelf, specifically chosen to solve one immediate problem. It provides the precise, tailored narrative needed to move from confusion to decision-making, even if the final execution requires a conversation with the librarian in my metaphor, or more particularly the sales team. And now it's my great honor to announce this year's recipients of the recognition as the best API product microportal inside an entire developer portal. First, let me put a special spotlight on the BNY Treasury Services portal. And this portal demonstrates an overall sense of integration flow that the jury found highly effective and exemplary. Their documentation was greatly appreciated for its upfront clarity, explicitly detailing that their offering is B2B, with implementation tailored away from consumer concerns. This transparency is invaluable for technical implementers and decision makers alike. The runner-up is the Monite Docs portal. The jury was thoroughly impressed by its sophisticated structural approach, which treats their platform as a series of self-contained product modules, such as accounts payable and accounts receivable, that effectively function as individual microportals. Monite Docs successfully learned from and applied industry best practices, setting a very high bar for integrated documentation. They were praised for their usability features, particularly the exceptionally nice search functionality that provides clear results with helpful filters and breadcrumbs. Furthermore, they demonstrated a highly commendable integration approach, offering first-class supports for guides, APIs, and direct access to GitHub, all at the same level. Congratulations. And now, allow me to announce the winner of the Best API Product Microportal inside a developer portal, which is the Shell Developer Portal. This portal excels in providing the technical enablement that developers seek while maintaining focus on the crucial product narrative. It's a definite big win for implementers. The jury it was particularly impressed by their technical resource offering, providing both the standard OAS definition and a Postman collection for their APIs. Furthermore, the demo confirmed the promise of functional REST sample calls inside the documentation flow, assuring developers of ease of integration, even if the API keys are required. While organizing such an extensive API portfolio is an inherently challenging task, Shell's commitment to packaging essential product information alongside robust enabling technical resources made them the standout choice in this evolving category. And I would like to call two people to the stage, Ashwin Subramanian, who is the API Consumer and Developer Experience Manager, and Sofia Ivanosko, who is the Product Owner of Developer Experience and of Digital Innovation. Good evening. Hi, Sofia.
Hi, good evening. Wow. Thank you so much. I'm really surprised. It's a great achievement for us, especially seeing such a great portals today.
Congratulations, and hello, Ashwin, to you as well.
Hello, thanks for the recognition. We are humbled for this because we have seen a lot of nominations today, and congrats to all of them, and we're happy to be part of this community. And thanks for the recognition.
And I come with a question. What trend or shift in developer experience influences your work the most right now?
Sorry, can you repeat that, Laurence?
What kind of shifts in developer experience, which is your territory, what kind of shifts there does influence your work on a portal, where you are directing it, and how did you arrive to creating this microportal?
Yeah, as Shell, most of our APIs are B2B related, as you would have noticed from the portal, and adding value to our B2B business through digital services has caught the attention of all our sales channel and all our business partners who partners with Shell for the fleet management, basically. And since the digital services comes into picture, so we want to give real-time data access possibilities to our bigger customers that we have. And hence, we have all those APIs, all the SDKs, and for this year and the next year, what we plan to do more is add more of a business content to link up the technical content that we have. So just making sure the portal has content for developers, non-developers, business people alike.
Do you want to add to that, Sofia? Let me ask another question. This was a surprise. What does this mean for you? That among all the contenders, you won an award for a microportal, which the DevPortal Awards is championing because we see a huge business value in. Well, I think basically we've gone full circle almost. One of the portals I gave out announced before was the Unified Enterprise Developer Portal, and now we have the Balancing Microportal. How do you see that? What would your narrative be to say, yes, it is important to have such a microportal?
Well, I think like we have the Microportal for the mobility APIs. It can be also the case for all the products you have. But since we have different APIs from different lines of businesses where the proposition is not that developed as the mobilities, that's why we created this microportal with a product especially for mobility. I'm not sure if I answered your question.
Yes. Yes, because it speaks directly to the intent that I perceive, in that there is both need for a federated experience, but also a highlighted experience that goes more into detail once you when you know which area you want to approach, but from a very different perspective, more interested in the nuances, especially the business outcomes and the hows and the whys and those stories. And like Ashwin said, this is a space that allows for bringing this kind of information cohesively into one space. Congratulations again for winning this award. It's a huge achievement, and I wish you a lot of success further.
Thank you so much. Thanks, thank you.
And I have a surprise slide. You see, Santa has had. So this is that article that I was referring to. The Gala event gives me a very strict time limit on how much information we can share. But we already started an article series with more details, and in the coming weeks, we will be writing up in long form the nuances and the details about the considerations, deliberations, advice, gotchas, takeaway lessons that we've learned during the various category evaluation discussions. And I'm going to also be trying to incorporate as much as possible the conversations herein. Best reference documentation beyond RESTful APIs. So if you have been following the awards from the beginning, you know that one of the first aspects that we were looking at was reference documentation. So this category is reference documentation for the non-RESTful API documentation practices, where the evaluation centers on the portals that document API types that are less played out or less widely used than traditional RESTful APIs, ones that demonstrate excellence in helping the user understand the domain and processes associated with these APIs. So you know that a serious enterprise is expected to customize their portal to provide a superior user experience. And while the established tools are great, the organization have to demonstrate to win this award how they manage to break apart and make much more of it than what is available off the shelf, creating something unique and effective. One should consider content management, information architecture, comprehensive guides, and so forth to be part of the company's core IP. The Developer Portal Award celebrates the commercial application of documentation strategy rather than market competition among platform vendors. And so the overall benchmark in this category focuses on exposing APIs at a higher level of abstraction. And this year, we have the surprise that it's a tie. So I am going to be announcing 2 award winners, one after the other. And I will also call them one after the other to the stage. So, big drum roll. One of the 2 winners is Mappedin. We're thrilled to recognize the Mappedin Developer Portal as an award recipient, particularly for their highly innovative and visually focused approach to API documentation. The Mappedin Developer Portal offers a unique and compelling way of visualizing the potential applications of their API, which serves as an immediate draw for beginners and experts alike. The jury was highly impressed by their commitment to the developer experience, particularly visible in their amazing building manager and their very appropriate sandbox environment. This environment truly functions as a sandbox, giving users the experience necessary to build their own solution for production. And we celebrate the portal for providing such an amazing playground experience that advances the category's definition. I'm inviting to the stage Mark Sohm, Team Lead of Developer Relations. EP is here. Do we have a representative here from the Mappedin Developer Portal team? Hi, Ed.
See if we can. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes, you're here. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is absolutely a surprise to us, but thank you.
Well, we knew it, but we kept it a secret, and we're very, very happy to see you taking this award. I have a question that maybe actually even more poignant as a CEO, especially in 2025. Is there a mindset or perspectives that you never lose sight of and proves essential to keep driving the documentation as it is?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, at Mappedin, because we have such a, in my opinion, a little bit of complicated product in terms of map rendering, instead of just providing the REST API, which we also have, we decided to create a more comprehensive SDK where developers can just take and start rendering maps with a few lines of code. So this was, if Mark was here, Mark was the one that led the team that built this developer portal. He put all the code sandboxing, and it was a lot of work to get that done. But we always strive for making it as easy as possible for our developers to use our tools.
Mark just joined.
Yeah, so maybe Mark will join, but in the meantime, let me gossip a little bit. So during the jury evaluations, there was like genuine excitement, and this the Mappedin portal was one of the portals where the jurors really, really, really had to try to put back their excitement, like, oh my God, I love the product. Had to
Thank you.
quickly focus on evaluating the portal, which is in and of itself amazing. Mark, welcome to the stage and congratulations to you too. Let me ask the same question. Did you have explicitly a mindset that you held on to keep your red thread while building this portal?
Yeah, and thanks again for the recognition and the award for this one. There's a lot of hard work went into this portal. One thing I keep in mind designing this, whether it's writing guides or making the portal easy to use or navigation or showing off the demo apps that you guys really enjoyed, is one thing I keep in mind is something that an instructor told me way back in my college days when we were doing a class on documentation is don't create the documentation for an expert or a peer or a fellow developer. Create it as if you're writing it for your grandparents that don't know how to use a computer. So that's kind of the mindset that I take to keep things simple, easy, and make it approachable so anyone can come in and understand. And you don't need that specific developer or domain knowledge just to come in and try things out.
However, the portal being what it is for, well, a little bit more specialized audience. Who are you asking the writers to write for? Where's the bar that is like a must? They must understand. Who's the persona?
Yeah, so it is catered towards developers. We want obviously to guide them through and help them to create the products that they want to build and allow them to try things out. So there is an expectation of that, but we don't want to think of it as being, say, a high tier and expert developer. With a new student coming in, someone that's trying this out in a university course, a new developer, we want to make sure it's as accessible to them as well as being useful to that pro developer that's been doing it for 20 years.
Amazing portal. Congratulations. Well, you are sharing the throne with another portal, so allow me to call them also and celebrate the other winner, equal winner of the Best Reference Documentation Beyond REST APIs, Pismo. Why are we celebrating Pismo is because they have truly impressive achievements in document creation practices that advance this field. The jury was deeply impressed by Pismo's ability to move beyond simple technical attributes, utilizing comprehensive guides to put complex prior properties into various contexts. The portal provides a very good presentation of JSON schemas, making it easy for users to understand them and connect them directly to corresponding APIs. A specialized area of exceptional focus that sets Pismo apart is their comprehensive documentation of events. This is sophisticated, high-quality technical content, which significantly elevates the practice of events documentation, and their overall content provides clear explanations that serve as a positive example. Congratulations, and I have on stage Ryan Armstrong, Senior Manager of Technical Writing. And again, love your job title. Congratulations to the whole team.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
And I would like to ask two questions that I have asked others before also. What kind of trends or shifts in the user or more focused developer experience influences your work the most on the portal?
Oh gosh, for us, I believe it's I would say that it's a global approach. As we've grown, we started in Brazil, and as we've grown, we've realized we had to change our approach to be everything to everyone across the world. So we've done a complete globalization. I believe that's kind of the trend. I think a lot of people start that way, but for us, we really had to grow in that direction. So I feel like moving towards localization beyond Portuguese and English is a trend that we are starting. And then, as everyone else has said, with the API, with the AI, adding AI where necessary, where it helps the user, and not something just to make it more spicy or more interesting. And then we see our users are, when we started DevX a while back, it was very much for developers, but we're starting to see a lot more less technical users going to our site, either for trying to figure things out on their own or to evaluate the product. So our developer portal is really is starting to become a sales tool where evaluators are looking at it to see, if they really want to go that route with our products. And I think that will continue in the future as well.
Is this change that you see also recognized by, if I may ask, by the sales and marketing teams in the company?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, we've been asked to, do things like give them access to our documentations, the LLM, to be able to help with RFP responses, because our documentation is very thorough and very well written. We have a great set of writers. Some very well-known writers are on our team, so it's been a great thing to have our writers get their names out there, and not just engineering and product management, also sales and marketing across Pismo and then our parent company as well. So it's been great. Sales and marketing use our tool on pretty much every sales call. They show it off. They love it, and we've gotten a lot of accolades internally because of it.
With reason. Congratulations to
you.
the amazing content on this portal. The jury really liked the events documentation, and I wish you a lot of success.
Thank you very much.
No, first I'm going to unmute my mic. I'm going to invite to the stage Bob Watson for an interview where, we are approaching the Best Overall Developer Portal of the Year 2025 award, and as well as that secret surprise award that we're going to give away here, what that actually is. But first, hi, Bob. Was there anything that surprised you this year as a juror compared with what you expected going in, and you had very well-based expectations since you were following the award as a juror from its inception? So was there something that surprised you, that's new? I didn't expect that. You might be muted. I can hear you, but like from 3 rooms away.
How does that work?
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, no, thank you. Every time I do this, I'm always surprised. I think that's what I enjoy most is how am I going to be surprised this time, because it never fails to happen. It never fails. And what surprises me is how many different ways there are to create the right documentation site, and they're all different. And as a side gig, I teach API documentation, and so I need to say, like, this is what good documentation looks like. And back in the old days, it used to be simple. We could describe good documentation, follow these rules, and you win. But as you've seen this evolve over the years, there are so many more sites and there's so many more solutions for so many more customers that there's no one size fits all. And so each year, I'm always surprised by how many examples there are and how different they are, in how they approach their specific problem with their specific product. And the flip side of that is that for us jurors, that presents new problems. We think we have it all figured out from the last one, and then we get a new batch of sites that are just like, oh, okay, well, we need to rethink this because they're doing so many cool things differently. How do we normalize that and come up with a score? And so that in itself offers its own kind of excitement by way of surprise, because then I get to work with all the jurors to see how we can approach this innovation and come up with a winner. But as a teacher, I think the best part is that I now have a new set of examples I can show my students to say, okay, well, here are a bunch of different ways to solve the problem for customers. So start from the best practices, but look at how these different sites have kind of expanded beyond that to address their customers in the way that works best for them, so that they can then be empowered to think beyond the best practices and come up with a solution that works in their specific situation.
And then this comes out very sharply in that conversation that we scheduled, I think, 2 hours for this year to choose the best overall developer portal. Excuse me.
Sorry, I lost you. Did I?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Kati can hear me. Bob, can you hear me?
Can you try again? I'm sorry.
I can hear you. Can you hear me now? So this also never fails. Any video call. In any
You
video
can hear
call.
Laura, but I can't. Oh dear.
So in the meantime, allow me to tell a bit of like orchestrational Brexit. Okay, some orchestrational parts. So the best overall developer portal is chosen from the award winners, and this is always a very heated discussion. We, just like Bob said, going into this choice, well, you have 5 award winners. Of course, it's going to be easy to choose the one that is going to be the best overall developer portal of the year. No. This year, once again, it was there because like Bob is saying, there are many, many ways to spread information or to share information with very specific audiences in an excellent way. And so one of the invisible lifts that the jurors do is to find and come to a consensus on the reason why they're naming one or another portal as an example to follow that year, because any award winner could have received the Best Overall Developer Portal Award, but they had to choose one, and they had to agree on a reason why they want to name that. And if you remember years back, I think 2 years back, Bob, you were very strongly advocating for technical writing as an art and science and profession being that reason. And now that brings me to the pleasure to reveal the surprise Developer Portal Award. Outside of the jury, we kept this a complete secret from everyone, including the nominees. They don't know about this. So Bob, would you do the honors of telling what is this secret award category?
Oh, well, the so I think it's the the writing, the reference topic writing, is that it?
Yes, so there was
Oh.
even it's on the naming, best written API reference topics.
Yeah, it's so secret that even I had to check to make sure I had it right. Yeah, no, reference topics are, and I go way back, and that's been a favorite subject of mine and study of my academic research. And I think they're sort of the unsung heroes of API documentation. When I worked in technical writing shops, it's like, well, we have these 15, 20 topics to get people started and get some tutorials. And we have these 500 API functions to document. So the volume is intimidating. And then the disadvantage of having so many reference topics is that individually they don't get a whole lot of views, and so that it looks like nobody's reading them. And so it's like, oh, this would be a great thing for automation because nobody's reading them, nobody. And there's so many of them, we'll just automate that so that boom, problem solved. But that's solving for the wrong problem. Because these are the reference topics that I consider the getting finished topics. We focus on getting started and time to hello world and all that. And that's great because you can't finish until you get started. But the reference topics are what typically have the secrets, that one piece of information you need to get over get past that last obstacle to have your successful launch and things like that. And so the writing in the reference topics is especially important because that has to speak to someone who's under pressure, because if they're trying to launch their product, that's always a somewhat pressure tension-filled experience, and they have to have they have to speak to a context that they can't predict, because for everyone that gets started, you end up with a whole bunch of different destinations. And so they really have a lot of heavy lifting to do. And so that's why having good writing in those content, and that's, I think, demonstrates understanding the developer customer who's going to be using that. And, with the empathy of saying, okay, we know things are tough, and, we'll help you get through it with clear and friendly writing and content that will solve their problem. And so you have to understand what problems those could be in order to solve them. And then for as many topics as there are, that problem, or to address that problem, you really can't put a template on it. You can't just say, well, we'll just have these aspects of it. We'll have the signature and the properties, and we'll be done, because that avoids the context that the developers are going to be in. So when I see well-written reference topics, it's like hearing good music almost. It's like they get it. They're talking to me. They know what I need. And so I think that's as a writer, I think good writing's an important skill to have anyway. But in that context, I can feel the connection. I'm not just being given a dictionary and told to figure it out. I have someone speaking to me, and so it doesn't happen often enough. But when it does, and I think this was what you're referring to a couple of years ago. I said we really got to bring this out, because this is what takes already good content and demonstrates it's at the next level. And with AI, I think that's even more important, because that's the content that the AI gets its intelligence from. And so if you can feed good content and good writing into that, then your AI experience and just your regular old school looking it up experience are both going to improve as a result. So yeah, so I could go on, but like I said, I think that just shows that they care about my success, because they're speaking to me, and I think that that message comes through with the good writing.
And what emerged as a top scoring docs portal successfully presented the entire endpoint conversation overview, value proposition, and all the detailed property descriptions on one single navigable page. And this became the pivotal decision point, as far as I recall. But so from a professional standpoint, as a technical writer, why is executing on this progressive disclosure model successfully on a single page such a significant achievement? Why is this non-trivial?
Well, it's non-trivial because you kind of have to look at from top to bottom. So it's a much broader perspective than just the kind of narrow focus of reference topics. And it's not something that's going to work for everybody, but in this case, they did it well, and it's one of those things where it just jumps out and said, I didn't see that one coming. And but the key, I think, to the design that they approached, to the document design, was that it spoke to the people, exploring the API for the first time. So they have the value proposition at the top and use cases, but then they have the API reference right there next to it to kind of back that up. So it's not just marketing copy. This is actually technical stuff that they're showing me here and backing it up right afterwards. At the same time, for the developer who's trying to get over that last hurdle to get to the finish line, they provide the context of the API and kind of the use case right next to the API reference. So even as you're up to your neck in all the details you're trying to juggle to figure out which one isn't playing well with the others, you have this high-level sense of to give you the context in case you find you've really gone down a rabbit hole and you're looking for the details, but then you have this use case that says, oh, maybe it's not here because it doesn't say it's going to do that, so I can look someplace else. And so having that, you don't normally see that. Usually those topics are, miles apart. You have the use case content, near the introduction where you're getting to know the API, and the reference topics, 3 clicks down into read our reference topics, because it's way past the use case information. And so those two never you wouldn't stumble across them both at the same time without a lot of effort. But here, it worked really well in this example for how they were just, you had the right information in the right place. And so I thought they approached solving that problem quite well. And again, like I said at the beginning, there's so many ways to do the right thing that this might work. It works great for the winner, might not work for you. I was looking at this yesterday trying to figure this out. So I said, well, let's try some other APIs I worked on. It's like, nah, they're too big, they're too many. This isn't the right fit for that. There's other ways to solve that problem. But for them, it's the right thing, and I think that should be highlighted so that, maybe we'll see more of those. And I'm curious about what Mike said earlier about, how the big topics would confuse the AI by having too much stuff that the AI would, I think he was saying that the AI would get lost. I'll have to talk to him later and explore that. But I think in this case, it might actually help the AI because of how they organized it. So again, it's one of those things, if you do it right and it's the right thing for you, then it's, the magic will happen. And so whether the magic happens or not, they won the prize. And so that's it. That's pretty magical.
So here's another completely different example that you will look at. And I think we have created so much suspense, and maybe the portal that actually did this kind of documentation already know that we're talking about them, but nobody else. So but let me pull this a little bit longer, this suspense. And first, I'm going to announce the best overall developer portal of the year. And after that, the portal that gets the surprise best written API reference topics. Thank you very much, Bob, also for taking the jury panel through that finish line. And I hope to see you at the next awards program as well, because this wouldn't be the same awards without me. So this is my delight to announce who's the Grand Award winner. As I was saying, eligible portals for this are not all the nominees, only those who actually won a category award. Contrary to what you saw on the website, we made a slight pivot during the jury discussion. And that is that this year, there's only going to be one best overall award. We are not separating enterprise and small business portals, but calling out the one that the jury ultimately agreed after a very heated discussion to choose as best overall portal. And the reasons why and who was the runner-up, stay tuned for the long-form article. But for now, let's hear who is the winner of the best overall award. Drum roll to North Developer Portal. Congratulations. And while I'm calling Brian Long, Senior Director of Product Management, to the stage, allow me to say why. Operating in a highly crowded and complex payments processing space, North distinguishes itself through its mastery of foundational design and storytelling. The portal achieves the remarkable feat of providing a clean story in a very complicated space. The jurors specifically celebrated how the portal brilliantly hides all the complexity, such as PCI compliance and security concerns and whatnot, until the user explicitly needs these, ensuring an exceptionally smooth initial experience. This commitment to foundational clarity and a well-thought-through solution pathway ensures that the visitor recognizes the solid tech and expertise under the hood. After a detailed review of their robust SDKs and various guides, the jury confirmed that North provides an extraordinarily really well-done experience, setting a universal example for excellence in a business-critical domain. Yes, Will, would you come onto the stage? And Brian as well.
Hi,
Hello,
thank you
welcome
so much. Feels like winning an Oscar, an absolute surprise, because
Well, I hope
really,
it's like
the
it.
community here is remarkable, and I'm so impressed by everything everybody's doing.
Yeah, definitely second what Will said. Thanks. Huge honor for us.
Hi, Brian, and nice to meet you again.
Hey, Laura, nice to see you again. It's been a couple of years, I think.
Yes. What was the journey like for your team in creating this portal, Brian?
Yeah, we've been closely looped in with some of our biggest enterprise merchants and largest ISV partners. So we partner with people who are looking to embed payments into their web apps or their point of sale systems. And so North has worked with a couple large point of sale manufacturers in retail and restaurant space. And we're looking to expand pretty greatly into the e-commerce platform space this year. And so we kind of went back to some of our historic customers that have integrated into our APIs and talked to them, just did, interviews with them, customer interviews, and really looked at what their needs were and what was missing from the entire integration and documentation experience. And so we kind of re-envisioned that entire DevPortal user journey flow based on those conversations. And so we split our users into a few different groups. So we have, the developers who just want instant access to code samples and instant access to API creds without talking to somebody, kind of have that self-service experience where they can get their sandbox creds right off the bat, versus more of like what we call white glove experience, where these are our developers who are working on a large team and they want to, they're going to be generating revenue from their payments. And so they're going to be like negotiating a custom rev share with us. So we kind of have these couple separate user journeys, and we designed the docs similarly so that, there are most of the docs you can get to either without even registering or just after registering. But then for those advanced white glove users, there's a whole another level of experience that gets kind of like unlocked or opened up once you're working with the sales agent. But we don't want to, overwhelm initial users with that experience right up front. So that's kind of some of the user journeys that we walk through with our first ISV customers when we re-envisioned the dev portal.
And I'm asking, Will, from a developer, an experience point of view, was there a moment when you realized that you're actually building something special here? You're muted.
Thank you. Sorry. So I'm personally new to our industry, the payment space, and going to our own docs and seeing what initially felt overwhelming when I look at how many pages we had, but then realizing how digestible my team has made this information for me, like as a developer, that right there was remarkable when I saw for myself that my team had built something that I felt really, I think Bob described really well the challenge. It's really hard to figure out how to present all this information in a coherent, hopefully somewhat linear way where you can find what you want, despite there being so many different diverging paths. When I experienced it for myself and needed to use it for myself, that was definitely the moment.
I can confirm that. This was also the jury's reactions, both from people who are not involved in the payment space and from jurors who have been building payments portals. They were genuinely admiring how consumable it can be made. And so, yes, communication, words, and empathy. Congratulations to the team once again. We're very happy that you have won this award. And I hope that the rest of your team is also going to be celebrating with you.
Yeah, we're absolutely humbled. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Laura. It's a huge honor for us here at North. So thanks for your time.
Thank you, Brian. And it was really great to see you on the stage again. And now I come to that surprise secret award by which Portal won this. Because as I said, the nominees didn't know. All 44 nominated portals were inspected by one of our jurors who did a huge heavy lifting. This was an incredible effort to evaluate all of the nominees, their reference topics and reference docs against 24 criteria that we wrote down. And another dozen or more of implicit criteria. And then a short list emerged, and then another passionate discussion of more than an hour. It was hours. And then an award winner emerged as we were talking about this with Bob. But who is that? Which portal? Drum roll to the last award that I'm giving out at tonight's gala. And it goes to the UPS Developer Portal. Congratulations. This portal distinguished itself through its exceptional content architecture and page design. It successfully integrates the progressive disclosure model, as I said, by placing the entire endpoint conversation from the value proposition to the comprehensive field definitions on a single page, yet maintains easy navigation through effective internal linking. The jury awards the portal this surprise for the delightful surprise that they had, and as a recommendation as a good model for API reference topics if it fits. This execution, which balances complex requirements with elegant simplicity, is a significant achievement. In the words of the jury panel, one of the members, it looks very simple, but we can tell from our professional experience, it's not very easy to make such a huge documentation set look so flowing. There's a lot of thought which went behind that. Also, to make a scalable information architecture is not trivial. The content excels in clarity, providing highly clarifying descriptions, particularly the very thorough error handling. And I would like to call to the stage Shreya Gate, product manager, if here. Yes.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
Congratulations.
Thank you. This is truly a very delightful surprise at the very end. So really happy, and thank you all jurors for this award.
And I have one short question because you didn't prepare. But if you had to name one principle as a product manager that shapes the portal the most, what would it be?
I think it would be empathy and understanding our different user types. That truly, and in terms of like the description that you and Bob also discussed about the API reference and all, we have tried to create a documentation where we understand what the customer needs and put it all in one place, not just from obviously from a technical perspective that the developers would need, but also from a business perspective that all the decision makers would need while making any decision from like a API product perspective.
Is there something that you have learned while building, while this portal was being built or shaped or evolved? Something that surprised you?
Lot of things. I feel like each day is like something new that I keep learning. What I think what struck throughout this whole journey of building this developer portal is how simple the integration should be for our customers. And like again, we have different integration patterns. We have Postman, we have GitHub, we have our own built-in sandbox environment. So again, we come up with different tools how we can ease the customer journey, and it's truly surprising to see like how these tie up together. And actually are adding a value to customers' development journey.
Congratulations once again. And I hope that the writers who are behind these amazingly shaped topics are going to be very happy when they hear about it.
Thank you. And I thank the entire team also for this. But yes, thank you for the surprise award.
And I bring one more surprise. Well, actually two. So wait for my next two slides. One being a webinar that is going to be shaped by my incredibly talented and experienced colleagues. And Kathleen Dero is going to be presenting. She is going to be talking to you about what does better mean when somebody says, I would like to have a better developer portal. Does it mean more documentation? Does it mean a new design, a smarter search, an AI assistant, changing your information architecture? Without a clear framework, teams risk spending a lot of effort on changes that don't drive real growth or maturity in their context. And so we are creating this webinar to introduce a practical way to define and measure what better means for your developer portal. And based on our work with the growth audit, this session will help you understand where your portal stands today and how to plan your next steps towards higher maturity levels. You learn how to use this maturity model to assess your current portal and identity and identify meaningful areas for improvement. Align cross-functional teams around shared goals, which is sounds deceptively easy. And build data-driven arguments for change and secure stakeholder buy-in. And so if you would like to figure out for yourself where is better for you, join the webinar. This is going to be on 1st of December in the afternoon in European hours, morning in US hours. And I come to my second surprise, which is I've got tickets. Use the AI the Docs VIP code for 100% discount. My colleagues are going to put the link and the discount code also in. And I can see Marco celebrating. He is going to be co-emceeing this track with me. Thank you, Marco, for taking on that role. So you get a ticket for the AI the Docs conference, but this actually gives you full access to the entire Future of Software Technologies conference, also known formally as API Days, but this is going to be much, much bigger, several conferences together. And I hope that you can join. Paris in December is always interesting. Plan your journey well, but I really, really hope to meet you in person. I'm going to be the one calling the speakers to this stage. And with this, I'm concluding the Developer Portal Awards Gala for the year 2025. Thank you for your attendance, your support and contribution in any shape and measure. Stay tuned to the upcoming publications. And if for any reason you have suggestions, questions, any reason why you would like to take up contact with me, you find me as Laura Vash on LinkedIn. And if you want to talk to any of my colleagues or you would like me to introduce you to someone, I'm happy to do that. Once again, I congratulate to the winners, and we are very, very deeply grateful to the jurors this year and of all the former years who have organically shaped this awards program for all that is today. Thank you very much and have a very good day further, and see you on any of the platforms or in written content. And I hope you had a good, enjoyable evening.